Good morning. I'm in a very nice part of Winchester today because I thought I would come here in celebration of the fact that this is the loan car that I've got for the day, because my mother's 2017 Mercedes-Benz C200 Estate Sport 90 Tronic is in for its MOT and service, and so they've given me this 2019 Mercedes-Benz C200 Estate Sport 90 Tronic. There's actually a number of differences between this one and my mother's car. This is the facelifted model, and I can't tell you so much about what's different on the outside. They look very, very similar. The wheels come to mind. They don't look as nice as my mother's car at all. They look like they've been sort of primarily designed to run through the air nicely and not actually for the way that it looks. Not real fond of that. The other thing is I can't find where the little button is that you press for the keyless entry when you want to lock the car. Normally there's a button on there, but there isn't one on here, so I don't know what you do. I'll just use the key fob like normal then in that case. I must bear in mind that I must tell you that the dealership in Winchester did give me the car a little bit dirty. This is how it came. That's not through my driving. I've only driven the car for about 5 minutes. But yes, the engine in this car is actually completely different from from before. So first of all, we'll find a bonnet release, which on this car is always a right pain, and we'll have a look. Under here, it's a 1.5 litre engine rather than the previous 2 litre engine. Generates about 185 horsepower. Has a mild hybrid system as well. Not a lot to see under here, to be honest. A little bit more naked possibly, with the cooler reservoir looking like that. Don't know why it's a bit sort of filthy on here. People think it's been leaking or something. I don't really understand it. The car's not new. It is about a year old or so. But yeah, I don't know what's been going on under here. Other than that, it still looks for normal. There's the little thing for catching the battery up if you needed to jump start it or something, or jump start someone else. Screen washer reservoir is there. This car's probably got an electronic dipstick as well. I don't see a dipstick anywhere, just the old filler cap. Overall, yeah, huge plastic covers, not really much else to say. Although I think they possibly have moved the air, one of the air filters, because one of the air filters used to live there. Yes, there we go. Just going to open the boot. Again, not a lot of change in here. I think they say the capacity is about 5 litres different between the pre and post facelift cars. I can't really tell. I imagine under here we've got the same sort of thing going on. Yes, tyre repair kit, no spare wheel. Probably because the mild hybrid system is under here and things now. A nice Mercedes-Benz storage box though, which is always interesting. So let's get in the back. I've put my driving seat in the same position as I usually do. Got no panoramic sunroof in this car, so actually the headroom's okay now. It was terrible with a panoramic sunroof. Don't like this dark coloured interior. It's really, really dark in here. White headliner though, which is some compensation, but it's still a bit dark. Legroom, it's all right. It's not the most spacious thing I've ever seen. Nice teals though here. That's rather luxurious, and so is this. Artico leather, of course, not real leather. Still got the door handle a bit too low down for my taste, but you know, there we go. Still got the centre armrest. Still got the rather fancy pop-out cup holders. Still got the strange air vents there. A little compartment for whatever it is that you happen to need. No ski hatch, I don't think, but the centre seat folds on its own, or the little armrest bit does anyway. So it's I think they call it a 40-20-40 split folding arrangement. Right, let's get in, but don't get run over by somebody else in the meantime. If you've watched my review for Tweed Jacket Reviews of my mother's car, you'll have seen of, you know, what that looks like. This is, you know, a little bit different in here. For some reason, most of the sport trim level, like my mother's car, they've got rid of all the seat controls. It's got manual adjustment fore and aft, and the other seat controls are sort of down there. You can't really see. I don't show off my jacket, but they it's not as convenient as having them on the door where they should be. Same sort of thing as before, the cup holder situation going on here. In there, still the two it's a USB-C ports in there. A nice little SD card for the navigation, should you wish to have one. They've got rid of the sort of mouse thing on top of here. This is the new Mercedes-Benz MBUX system, as opposed to the previous command system. If I just switch the car on, the button actually for doing switching the car on is different as well. There it is. It's different from before. Don't know why. It feels cheaper. A lot of the things in this car actually feel a bit cheaper than the pre-facelift ones, which is really strange. The dials, for example, as you'll see, they don't mark. I'll just where the mute. Let's just turn that right down. There we go. Same thing happens with this. I had the car in eco mode before I arrived, and the car starts in comfort mode every time. It doesn't like starting in eco mode, which is a shame, because as you can see here, there's the mild hybrid system. We've got power and charge for EQ, and EQ is Mercedes-Benz own label for electrification on their cars, so clearly we do have that. If I can go through some of the menus here, I think this little scroll thing, oh, it's really nasty actually. It's a little scroll button I use with my hand. It's a touch sensitive one. It's the same kind of things that you get in the pre-facelift car. It's just, it's not a normal button. I don't know why. You can't have a normal button. You have to have these little annoying touchpad things, but you know, I'm not a Mercedes-Benz designer, what do I know? Also, we've got rid of some of the little increments on the dials. It only says 20, 40, 60, 80 as opposed to 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, which I just find annoying. I don't know why they've done that. Huge centre screen though, absolutely enormous big screen, and I think you can operate it as a touch. I might be wrong. No, it's not a touch screen. It's just literally on. I think you can use this little thing here. Yes, you can use this side here to operate it now, although that feels nasty. So I prefer to use actually this system here, and that is a lot better, just to use that, just like on the pre-facelift cars. And we have got, you know, ways of going back and forth with tracks. We can supposedly do that, although it doesn't look like it's doing anything. So if I pause that there, do I get to go back and forth? How do I do that? Is it that? I can't work out how to do it, viewers. We'll have to sort of skip that. But I've got navigation when that loads up. That's much nicer than before. It wasn't a bad system before, but that is a lot nicer. I'll just turn the engine off to save a bit of fuel. I'm sure this will keep going anyway. Yes, it is. But it's a much nicer system than before. As we can see, we are on Christchurch Road, which is in the St Cross area of Winchester. Media, which was what we were on before. Sean Foyt playing there. And then we've got telephone. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's similar to the old system, but a much larger screen. I think this is probably a 10.1 inch screen, something like that. The previous one was a 7, although there is quite a significant bezel that goes around it. Still got the dynamic select system. I have put this into obviously you want the drive. I put an eco because I always drive these cars in eco. The ESP is in comfort. I presume that's for it all on, and the steering is in sport, because if you have the steering in the comfort setting, it's just too light. Same annoying heat and ventilation controls as a pre-facelift car. Same rather nasty, cheap feeling buttons down here, which I'm not a fan of in a car that costs over £30,000. Right. Well, I've got a business to attend to, but I will come back shortly and we'll go for a little bit of a drive. Right, we are ready to go. Electronic handbrakes, don't like those. Right. So how does this feel in comparison with the previous model, like one that my mother has? Well, I think in both of these cars the engine is a little bit gruff. You really don't expect to have an engine that's just a normal petrol engine sound too wonderful these days. I mean, V6s and V8s are rather on the endangered list, but what you do expect is something that's at least a bit refined and a bit smooth, and this engine's, it's all right. It just sounds like the engine out of a normal car. It doesn't sound like a Mercedes-Benz engine, although it is. It's a 1.5 litre engine with a mild hybrid system, and it develops about 185 horsepower. There obviously are other engines. There's a 2 litre that I think is the C200 as well, and that has a bit more power. There is a C180 I think you can get in the saloon, which I believe is a you know, a version of this as well. I can't really feel we're getting more power from the mild hybrid system particularly. I do feel regeneration in the brakes, but then again, my mother's car has a really weird sort of mild hybrid system, in that you can put it into a mode called gliding mode, where it's not using really any revs at all, and this doesn't feel in any way different. Someone just tried to kill me there. Not looking coming out of a junction. Even though we're in Winchester, it doesn't mean that road manners are necessarily exemplary. It is nice and smooth and quiet in here, though. Suspension's nice and comfortable. Maybe not the most sporty drive, but this is the sport setup for the suspension. There are others, such as the AMG line, which is a more expensive version of the car that has firmer suspension, and then there'll be the SE at the bottom of the range, which has even more normal suspension than this. Right, I think what we'll do is we will pull over a second and switch the camera over so you can look at it in another direction. You don't have to see my lovely face all the time. There we go, just pull over here. Right. Off we go. Mirror signal manoeuvre. Still in this cross area of Winchester here. In fact, we've just passed the church that's called St Cross. Oh, it's a very, very nice Triumph GT6. In some ways I prefer to be driving that today, but given it's 25 degrees now and it might be even warmer later, I think we'll stick to this nice air-conditioned cabin. Yes, it is very similar to my mother's car. The amount of light getting in here is not as good because there's no panoramic sunroof, and we've got a dark interior, and the pieces of trim on the side, like where you put your seatbelt on and things, are also dark. Where in my mother's car, I think there's a light colour. So I don't think she'd like this particular combination of interior and exterior. And I don't know what the fuel economy of this car would actually be in comparison to my mother's one. My mother's car got 45 miles per gallon the other day when I drove it to Epsom and back on the motorway. It's about as good as it gets to that car. You'd think a 1.5 litre car with a mild hybrid system would get a little bit better than that. I don't have the car very long, so I really can't test that. The amount of urge feels fine. I can't detect really this car being any faster in particular than my mother's one. And of course, I don't think the suspension's been particularly changed. There's no adaptive suspension or anything in this. like there are in some models of these you can buy, and to be honest, I don't think you need things like that. You also probably don't need the rip-snorting C43 and C63 models for most of the driving, particularly, you know, sort of driving that I do. One thing I'm noticing though is that as I'm going up this hill, I'm using the power meter as opposed to a charge, whereas I know that because I'm on my way to do some shopping for one of our neighbours who are self-isolating, I know that when I go down the hill into the Sainsbury's, I might get some charge and I might get some regenerative braking, which will be nice. I like a bit of regenerative braking. Still got the eco meter that has been the case for all sorts of Mercedes-Benz models. Funnily enough, I've just checked the reset of this car, and it's done about 5,000 miles from new. The reset was 2,000 miles ago, and what it's saying to me here is that it's doing exactly the same average miles per gallon, which is 32, as my mother's car was before I took it in for a reset today at the dealership. So yes, I'm not exactly sure what improvements have been made. Let's put that back into the screen so I can see. Are we getting? Yeah, we're getting charged now. Going down here. The service is not very good. Apologise, my mount's always in the way, but that's just the way that it is, and it's only me who can go in the car because we are still in lockdown. But anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this little brief video of my time with this 2019 Mercedes-Benz C200 Estate Sport 9G Tronic. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Unless you've watched the Tweed Jacket Reviews episode on my mother's 2017 model, I doubt this will make a lot of sense, but you know, for the 3 or so people who've watched that, then I'm sure you're enjoying this very much too. The reversing camera is actually a bit different this time, which is good, I suppose. And I think it does actually have a bit more sensitivity in terms of when it goes off, it does beep a little bit sooner. My mother's car is always disturbing in that it just doesn't beep most of the time. And there we are parked. So please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to like this video, to leave a comment below. Look at a Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, and an Instagram page, instagram.com/Lloyd_Vehicle_Consulting. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.